You know, the title of my talk is called Be Stupid because so many times, and how many can relate to this? Like every time, at least for myself, every time I've ever thought I was smart and I know something, I've always been, the world has shown me how utterly wrong and stupid I am. And, you know, we've all seen lots of changes in our lifetimes. And one of them, of course, was the rise of the internet. And so I was kind of the right age, the right time during the 90s as the internet was rising. And I started an internet company. I built websites. And I built the first websites for AmericanExpress.com, huge Fortune 500 companies that I built the websites for. And then I sold that company for millions of dollars. And I only say this because within 2 years of selling the company, I was dead broke. I had $0. I had basically spent it all or invested it all, and the investments went to zero. And I realized for the first time in my life, I am probably the stupidest person I know. Even though I had ridden this trend, I was telling myself I simply just got lucky. And I was so just ashamed and embarrassed. I was losing my home. I bought a big place in New York City, completely lost it. There was one time I was afraid to always look at my bank account because at one point it was something I would look at all day and be so proud of myself. It's like net worth equals self-worth in a lot of ways. But then suddenly one time I looked at my bank, I had $143 left in the bank after once having millions, and I just had no way to pay for my family. And I had 2 little babies and was just losing everything. And I was so depressed all the time. I could hardly get out of bed. And finally, there was people say, well, how did you bounce back? How did you get out of it? Or now people say what I call failure porn, where it's like, oh, I failed and then I was able to succeed. It doesn't work like that. Like when you're failing, there's no way out of it. You think that it's just going down forever. And whether it's, business or health or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And we all go through this at some point, or at least I hope everybody does, and it's not just me. But one thing several things helped. And the most important was, or one of the most important was, are you thinking about your health? And I'm not just talking about physical health. I always pretend I'm going to go to the gym, for instance. Like, I got to the hotel here. I'm like, do you have a gym? I didn't even pack gym clothes or anything. I wasn't going to use the gym. I actually found that it's much easier to just tell people, instead of going ever to the gym, I just tell people I used to be 300 pounds. And then they say, oh, you look great for someone who used to be 300 pounds. So that's the way I get away without going to the gym. But just health in terms of okay, how are you eating? Are you sleeping okay? The answer is no in Norway. I don't know how you guys do it. That was a callback to the other joke, so. But just keeping that in mind, because if you're sick in bed, you can't start another business. You can't bounce back. So part of the time you spend every day being depressed and anxious, you could say, okay, I'm going to use at least a part of that time to stay healthy. And then next thing is emotional health. Like, how are you going to start a business? How are you going to succeed in life if you're arguing with your spouse or partner or friends all day long? And it's very important, even the people you partner with in business, that, they say you're the average of the 5 people you spend time with. And it's really true. Like, I remember one time, many years later after this point, I was a partner in a venture capital fund, and I realized at one point I didn't really like my partners. I felt they weren't really treating other people very well. They weren't really treating me well. And one time I was going out to lunch, and I even oddly, I just fell straight down on the ground, hurt my leg. I didn't trip on anything. I just fell. And later on, I was thinking back in the office, I was thinking this is a message. Like, somehow my body is telling me something. And so I did something very stupid, but I felt like I had to do it. Right in the middle of a meeting that afternoon, I got up. I had a suit jacket. I left it on the back of the chair. I didn't go to my office, which had my name on it. I just went to the elevator. Took the elevator 40 floors down. I went up to the train station, took a train 60 miles to my house, and I never went back to that office again and never returned any phone calls from anyone at that office. So I just decided I needed to, be around the people I loved and supported and who supported me and loved me. And yes, it's stupid sometimes to break off connections in such an abrupt way. That was sort of an odd thing. But you have to do whatever it takes to protect yourself so you can succeed. You can't let other groups and other people be the center of your gravity, the center of the thing that you orbit around. You have to, as cliche as it is, you have to orbit around yourself. And part of that, too, is you can't outsource your intelligence and your creativity to something else. And this is really important in a time where there's new news about AI almost every single day. And AI, of course, is a way that we outsource our intelligence. Just like, okay, if you use GPS, I stopped being able to tell directions 20 years ago. Like if I'm even 2 blocks from where I live, I don't know where I am because I need GPS to get home. I use GPS for all directions. We've been doing that for 20 years. We've outsourced our sense of direction to GPS. Just like 20 years before that, we outsourced our ability to do math to calculators. But now you can literally outsource almost all intelligence. And I think a lot of people are afraid, oh no, are we going to lose our jobs from this? Are we going to lose, our opportunities? We're just going to have to stay home and watch TV because AI is going to do everything. I mean, already AI for diagnosis in most critical aspects of health, AI is already better than doctors. But you still need doctors for that human touch. But really AI, I know one company, they have 18 million patient records where they have all the complaints of the patient and then the diagnosis. So now, given a new patient, they use AI and their database of 18 million patient records plus the AI they build on top of that, they use that to diagnose people, and they're, 80%, all the studies show they're about 80 or 90% better than and more accurate than doctors. Does that mean that doctors are eliminated? No, of course not. You use the AI. You always have to think of, whenever you have that feeling of fear, of, oh, is AI going to replace this valuable thing I do? You have to say, no, this is going to be the tool now I use to advance, to beat my competition, to create new things in the world. So about a year ago, basically a couple weeks, I think before I spoke here last year, I was asked to speak out at a very private conference where it was just Hollywood executives, the heads of all these different movie studios. And the guy who invited me basically told me these guys are scared and they want you to encourage them. And they wanted to basically fire all the writers and say that the AI are going to write all the movies, but you still need the movie studios. And unfortunately, the truth was the opposite. And we're seeing it now. We're actually seeing it starting right now. If any of you have used the latest Google VO3 to make movies, so you don't need actors anymore. You don't need a studio set. You don't need the $100 million to pay Tom Cruise's salary and to build extravagant sets. AI is good for all of that. But again, you can use AI as a tool because AI is not going to be able to write a thriller. It'll write the outline. It could actually write a first draft. It'll be okay. But here's the problem with AI and writing as opposed to AI in almost every other category. AI could write, and it has all the knowledge in the world. But it's when it comes to learning how to write well, learning how to write with intensity and with passion and with cliffhangers and with mystery, AI now, there's so many AI written materials that AI is now learning on its own written materials from, like, let's say everything AI has written in the past year is now being fed into the new AI models. So it keeps learning, in terms of writing, it keeps learning on the mediocre writing that AI started with. That's what it's learning from. So it doesn't get better as a writer. It gets better with videos as computers get faster. It gets better with language. It gets better with ideas. But it won't replace kind of the human emotion that comes with good presentation, good writing, good communication. And I always would encourage people, don't always think, every time you have that, again, that moment of fear, ask yourself, how can I use AI as a tool here? So the third thing that really helped me as I was going dead broke, I didn't know what I was going to do. Again, eventually I lost my home, had to move, figure out how to take care of my kids, had nothing left. And of course, when you're going up, everybody wants to be your friend. And when you're going down, it's really true, nobody wants to be your friend. So there's nobody I could call or anything. And what really helped me was, again, taking charge of my own creative health. And I found this box of waiter's pads. I love waiter's pads because they're very small. They can fit in your pocket. They have that nice light blue color. You could write, you can't write like a novel on a waiter's pad. You have to write just bullet pointed, ideas. And so I would write 10 ideas a day. Because if you don't exercise that idea muscle, it atrophies just like any other muscle. It'll atrophy in just 2 or 3 weeks, your creative muscle. And you have to exercise it every day. You have to, and for me, the way I exercise is coming up with 10 ideas a day. Has to be 10. 7 are easy. You'll see when you try this, the first 7, oh, this is a piece of cake. 8, 9, 10 is where you start to sweat. For me, that's 8, 9, and 10 of the push-ups every morning, but that's as many push-ups as I could do. But with ideas, you have to kind of sweat that idea muscle. So AI comes in here, though, because like the other day I had an idea. What if I can make an AI that basically looks at videos of patients coming into an emergency room? So they're bleeding, they've been shot, they have some outbreak of some disease they didn't know they have. Like, what do you do? So I was thinking you can make kind of AI glasses that doctors could look at a patient and the AI will tell them, oh, this person needs heart surgery immediately, or this person needs to, amputate their leg, or this person was shot, but the bullet is not where you think it is. And I wanted to be able to make an AI that would look at these videos and determine these things. So I had no idea how to do that. And by the way, I don't know if it's a bad idea or a good idea. The whole idea of writing 10 ideas a day is to write 10 bad ideas. You're not going to write 3,650 good ideas a year. The great thing about trying to write 10 ideas a day is you give yourself permission to have thousands and thousands of bad ideas and be okay with it. It's just exercise. It's not meant to be great ideas. But I wanted to know, if I wanted to do this AI, for this emergency room video AI, how would I do it? So I go to ChatGPT and I describe the idea, and then it walked me through, oh, you would use this site to store the video. Oh, here's 10 places where there are thousands of videos of patients coming into emergency rooms. Oh, here's another AI where after you process the videos and every frame is analyzed shade by shade, you could now say, you can label each video. This patient needed this patient needed this, and now the AI will learn, based on its analysis of every frame of the video, which ones lead to surgery, which ones suggest heart disease, which ones suggest a stroke. And by the end of this hour-long session that I had with AI, I had learned so much about all the tools available for medical AI, for videos of these emergency room situations, how AI and video worked, how you would make glasses that would, look at the video and then transmit messages to kind of where you see out of the glasses. So, of course, I'm not going to do this idea. It's probably a really bad idea. I have no idea. But AI as a tool taught me something. And so I was talking to Salman Khan, who's head of the Khan Academy, and he said education is going to completely change. Teachers are worried they're going to lose their jobs because AI is going to teach the kids. But now AI can tell the teachers what each kid is actually learning, how they're using the AI, which kids are ahead, which kids are behind. Right now, traditionally, you graduate all the kids, and so the kids that are behind get further behind. But AI is going to completely change that. So teachers, instead of being afraid, can flourish and use AI much better. So I found that this creative health became the most important thing. Exercising this creative muscle became the most important way that I was able to finally bounce out of a rut, start a new company with nothing, and sell that. And then I sold that for millions, and then 2 years later, I was dead broke. And you're gonna have to invite me back for next year if you wanna hear the next, how I got out of that being dead broke. But I just wanna encourage everybody who's going through these things and going through any of these fears, all of these new technological tools, they're actually great. AI is not gonna launch a nuclear war. It's really just here as a tool. And think of it, I'll just tell you one anecdote. My daughter is functionally she's just an idiot. Like, she is one of the dumbest people I know. And she's not gonna watch this video, so I don't care. So, but she is one, she was trying to figure out what she wants to do. And I said, okay, use AI and just ask it questions. She's not an artist. She's never designed anything in her life. She doesn't know how to use Adobe Photoshop. But a friend of hers needed a logo for a company. So she started using AI. There's AI tools to make logos and designs. So she did it. Then she did the next one. She's designing now for thousands of dollars a logo, 15 logos a week, and using AI with no other, design skills or design software or anything. So it's become this huge opportunity for her. And so again, think of all these new tools. And the world, if you read the newspaper, the news is bad every single day. There is never good news. You open the newspaper today, I am sure it's all bad news. But the good news is the tools we can use now to improve our lives and to make the lives of others better. And so, but you have to be humble enough and stupid enough to acknowledge what you don't know. I'll give you one other, unrelated to this, one life hack that has proved very good for me, and it is related to being stupid, and it'll seem small, but you'll try it today. I encourage you to try this hack today, and it'll work. I know the time is over, and I'm going to get through it really fast. 2004, it was my birthday, and I was already writing quite a bit of columns and so on, and so a reader of mine, this is in 2004, he wrote to me and said, hey, happy birthday. We don't know each other, but I registered JamesAltucher.com, and I want to give it to you for your birthday. And I was thinking to myself, I didn't need this. I don't need JamesAltucher.com. I didn't even respond to him. 10 years later, 2014, I realized I did want JamesAltucher.com. So I found that email from 10 years earlier, and I hit reply, and I said, thanks, I'll take it. And he wrote back, and he's like, whoa, I never had to wait 10 years for a reply. And so he gave me JamesAltucher.com, and we became friends. And I'm a horrible networker, but you never know, like when you give out value to the world and value comes back, you never know how it's gonna take place. So just yesterday, while I was here, 21 years later, I saw his name as he's doing some job related to something I'm heavily involved in, and it turns out I needed help from someone at his job. So I was able to write to him and say, hey, can you talk right now? I need help with something. And he was able to talk, connect me with the right people, things got done, things happened. And that's just from being stupid and not being ashamed to hit reply 10 years later to a generous gift I had gotten 10 years earlier. And so what I want you to do, if you're a bad networker, this is the best technique in the world. And I'm very bad at responding to emails. So this is what you do if you're like me. Go back into your email list, go back 10 years, find someone you never responded to, but maybe you would like to now. Hit reply and act as if no time has passed at all. I'm telling you, your life is gonna change if you do this every day. It's a great technique. So that was my talk, by the way. Thank you very much.